Now, if you want a little treat, if you want a little testing activity for we are going to have a freebie in the show notes that you can download and test it out. If you don't believe us that kids love cards, start there.
So once they fill their pyramid, then they're going to practice their takeaway skills. So flipping over a 3, then they're going to take 3 counters away. And you could then get them to work out how many are left, or how many turns do you think you're going to take until you have no counters left. So there's a lot of maths you can do with this. That's my favourite.
My favourite ones in 5 and 6, they were the most difficult ones to make. But we made 2 activities around the Fibonacci sequence and around Pascal's triangle. And boy, did we have some emails, some screenshots, discussions back and forth about this. The Fibonacci sequence is actually one my son came up with.
Rainbow Sky Creations acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we record this podcast on, the Dharawal and Whadjuk Noongar people. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures.
Welcome to Rainbow Skies for Teachers. It's Alicia here and I've got the beautiful Ashley with me and we're just so glad to be here.
We are so glad to be here because we're talking about one of our most favourite of things today.
Oh my goodness, what could it be?
We have been working long and hard. This has been almost 12 months in the background that we've been working on this. But finally, we can announce today that our version 4 packs are live and they are ready for you to use in your classroom.
Can you believe that we're up to version 4? When Ashley came up with this idea many years ago, we never thought we would ever get to version 4.
No, I can tell you it was in 2020. I wrote a blog post. We were using Post-it notes as little plus signs, takeaway signs. I had a little number line set up in my kitchen where the kids would peg the numbers. My 3-year-old was pegging the numbers at the time. I cannot believe where we have got to and all of the ideas that we've come up with in regards to but it just goes to show that cards are so versatile and you can do so many things with them.
That is correct. That's the crux of it, is that when you sit down, have a think about it, there are many ways that you can use So when we've looked and we've unpacked the Australian curriculum, but also the Common Core standards, we've realised there are lots of ways cards can be utilised in the classroom to teach mathematical concepts and to provide activities for students to practice a skill. And we know students need repetition, well, humans need repetition to practice and master those skills. So we've got new activities and we're touching on some new concepts as well.
We are. So we're going to go through some of our favourite activities today and we've got a little something for everyone. But before we do that, I want to say people often ask us, what is the difference between the different versions of That's a question that we get a lot, especially on socials. So the different versions, we've got version 1, version 2, version 3, and now version 4. And in each pack, the activities are different. So now, if you're teaching grade 1 and you get version 1, 2, 3, 4, you can have games that will last you the entire year. It will be all year round because it covers everything. And you only need cards as your resource, which I think is so amazing. What a time saver. What a brain saver too for teachers.
Absolutely. Just the game itself has just become popular in my household with my 4 and 5-year-olds, and a bit of me is secretly so stoked because I have childhood memories of playing with my dad most mornings when I was a little kid. And then we've taken these cards that are so loved globally and created tools for teachers to use in their classroom. So just to reiterate, if you got the year 1, 2 pack and you already have version 1, 2, 3, you're not going to get any double ups when you get version 4.
No.
You're just going to get more. And it's the same for all the other stages that we have. Because we didn't know we were going to create so many, we didn't have really method to our madness when we're creating it. We didn't say version 1 is all number activities, and we didn't say version 2 is all measurement activities. It's really a mishmash of goodness that has evolved over the years. So excuse us and our spontaneity. It's just how Rainbow Sky is at times.
I think in some ways it's great because you can kind of just trial and test a few different things. You might get version 1 and you try quite a few number activities and then it's got a measurement activity thrown in there and you can test the waters and see if your students like it. We've had teachers use these packs all over the world. Like, we hear from teachers everywhere. We've had it translated into other languages because we also have editable versions as well inside the pack. So if you purchase a pack, it will have an editable file in there. And we've had versions sent from Germany and all sorts of places that have been translated, which is really, really cool. But teachers say to us, the reason I keep coming back is because my kids really enjoy these activities. They love that they can use the cards. The cards just add that element of fun, but they're practicing skills that they need to practice. They can do it independently. The mats are really sort of clear cut. They've got a learning intention on them. They've got the instructions on them. So once they know how to play, they can play them independently. So there's lots of really wonderful things about them.
Absolutely.
And one other important announcement before we go into our favourite activities. For the first time, we have got...
I was going to mention this.
I
was going to mention this and I thought, should we? So, sorry,
yes,
I interrupted.
Yes, let's do it.
Say it again, Ash.
We have a pre-primary or a preschool pack for activities. So if you're teaching like pre-formal schooling, 3 and 4-year-olds, we have got a pack for you. There's way more ideas in my brain. So this is not going to be the end of this. Or if you're a teacher and you're thinking, my kids love these, I want to do it with some of my kids at home. I've got toddlers at home, older than toddlers, preschoolers at home. Then there is a pack for that as well, all around counting and those initial number skills and exploring numbers. There's some really fun activities.
Yes, I have a 4-year-old at home and I was printing out one of the activities to test and my kids are like, how do we do this one? What do we have to do? And that kept them entertained for a while in the sweetest way possible. Yes. So pre-kindy is here.
So it's exciting. But let's share some of the activities that we love the most, or give a little teaser of what people are going to see in each grade. So we break it up into 4 grades. We've got kindergarten or foundation prep, grade 1 and 2, grade 3 and 4, and grade 5 and 6. And the reason we group them together like that is so that differentiation is easy for you as the teacher. So you get the pack and you can differentiate with the activities there. And we've given you differentiation ideas in there as well.
Mm-hmm. We try to eliminate all the thinking, but keep it creative and open-ended for you in some of these activities. So each of the packs include at least 12 activities. Yep. If you get more, lucky you.
Yep.
So in the kindy pack, there is a game that I really love that Ash put together, and it's called Count the Pyramid and Take Away the Pyramid. So Ash has made a pyramid made of circles so you can get their counters. And it's as simple as they flip over a card, they say the number and count out that many counters. So they place their counters onto the pyramid. Say they flip a 5, they get 5 counters, say it, and put it on their pyramid. They keep going until they fill the pyramid. So there's over 20 spaces they have to fill. So they're practicing their addition skill, they're practicing their number recognition, and there's an element of competition, a bit of fun and accomplishment. And then there's another version where they work backwards. So once they fill their pyramid, then they're going to practice their takeaway skills. So flipping over a 3, then they're going to take 3 counters away. And you could then get them to work out how many are left or how many turns do you think you're going to take until you have no counters left. So there's a lot of maths you can do with this. That's my favourite.
Yeah, I think that counting the pyramid is a really good one to introduce those counting on skills too, that we know that we want to get our kindy kids to really start thinking about counting on, and some of them find it quite tricky. So it's a good introduction to the idea of counting on. My favourite, though, in the kindergarten packs are the measurement activities. We've got one that's heavier or lighter. So they use the cards and there's a grid of heavy things and light things, and they need to differentiate according to that. But we've also got tall or short. And I just think it's a really cool way of using the cards to look at different outcomes, not just the number outcomes. And if you've already got the cards in your classroom, why not use them for different things? And they look super cute.
They do. They do have visual appeal. And we know we've got some kids out there who are all about the aesthetics. So they're just 2 activities. But we definitely have touched on new concepts. So moving on now to grades 1 and 2.
Funnily enough, I found grade 1 and 2 the easiest packs to create up until this point. And then for version 4, I found it the hardest one to create.
Ashley takes the leads on these creations. The creations Ashley comes up with is great, and then I kind of piggyback on it and then come up with other ideas, and then Ash, we go back and forth. A bit of background story on it.
Quite a process.
And then Ash is like, I'm totally stumped on this concept, and then I will, add my 2 bobs worth and we kind of pad it out together. So yeah, 1 and 2 has been the last pack that we have unpacked. But we realized there was a concept we hadn't covered at all in any of the grade 1, 2 packs, which is a really important concept.
Yeah.
And what is it, Ash?
Doubling. We hadn't covered doubling, and we've done so many different games, activities, blog posts. One of our most popular blog posts right now on the website is around teaching doubling and halving. So we created a game for doubling. It's so simple, and it's just going to get the kids just practicing those doubles and that fluency with doubling. That's by far my favourite in the 1-2 pack.
I like it how you've got, doubles, near doubles plus 1, near doubles, take away 1, like with compensation. For the 1-2 pack, the one I like, and it is a bit of a tricky one to do because it's a global difference, it's the money maker. And you've made it in a way that any currency can be used in terms of one that has, I guess, a single digit and then cents, like dollars and cents. So, we're Aussies. So we've made it going like, hey, make this work for our Australian teachers, but, it could work for US teachers.
It could work for pounds or euros.
It could. I'm just having a look now. We've got different templates to factor in for that. And because you got the editable versions, you can adjust the symbol because we don't necessarily have access straight away to all the different currency symbols. So it is as simple as flip 3 Uno cards to create a price. Then using coins, make the same amount. And we've got a recording sheet to go with it. So say they flip over a 1, a 2, they would get $1.22. It allows you to talk about rounding because they're like, we don't have 2 cents. So how would that look like? Would you be rounding up or would you be rounding down? And it gets them as well using the money, making it. I think we're in a society where, kids are so used to seeing parents tap, 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 giving them those options for tactile use of money and giving them that autonomy to make the value that they want. And I love this that you can have as well, peer mentoring, peer discussions, mathematical reasoning for why you might have chose those cents instead of those cents. That's just great.
Yeah. And if you didn't want to do the rounding piece that we were talking about, you could just get them to lock in that third number to be a 5 or a 0.
Yeah,
and just
absolutely.
It's like you can make it flexible according to the students in your class. The other one I really love, actually, in the 1-2 pack that kind of came to me in the middle of the night is the position game. So they're actually using the Uno cards to move themselves around a game board instead of a dice. So that's where the Uno card comes in. But then the game board gives them little instructions on a position. So in the middle of the game board, there's lots of different icons and it might say, move your counter 2 spaces below or move your counter next to the elephant. And it's just using that positional language. I played this one with my daughter and one of our neighbours to test it, to see if it worked. We had to make a few little tweaks to make sure that it did work, but it was actually really quite fun.
And I think with positional language, you know how to teach it as a whole class and like all the kids get up and moving around and getting to give instructions, but a way for them to practice without having to actually get up and move around. And it's a really good one that you can use to support your lesson or as further consolidation as a morning activity or however you set things up. I think that's what I love about this activity.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's move on to grade 3 and 4.
Ah, yes. I'm going with another one along the lines of a concept we haven't really covered in Uno cards before, and that's elapsed time. I really liked this one for the 3-4 pack. 2 digital times that you need students to create. So they're going to flip over 3 Uno cards to create the first digital time and then Uno cards to flip over the second digital time. But you got to remember the first number for this one can't start with a 0. So there are some little rules so they're not making a completely ridiculous time that you go, hang on a second, that doesn't make sense. So they can't, because then we've created 2 versions. At the end of the day, you're allowing students to create a number and then they're having to work out how to see how much time has passed. And I feel like elapsed time, even when I used to teach it, gave me crunchy eyebrow moments. And now I'm trying to explain the game and it's still giving me crunchy eyebrow moments.
I feel like this one, you kind of visually need to see it.
You do. I'm sure this one will be up. It'll be on our blog.
Yeah, you'll be able to go and see a photo of it in action.
but literally they're time generators. They're creating the 2 times and then they have to work out how much time has passed. And kids are going to be a bit flexible and they might move cards around, but that's fine. It gives them the ability to challenge themselves where they're at, or to extend themselves to crossing over the hour time or multiple hour times. So I don't know. I like it because it's a different way to teach a concept that is usually just a bit of a worksheet or getting out some clocks and a bit restrictive.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, sticking with grade 3 and 4, one of the activities that I love that we actually have a version in grade 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 is the chance game. And this is one of these concepts that I said to Alicia, we need to organise something around chance, work your magic. And her magic, she did work. The grade 1 and 2, language around chance that's appropriate to grade 1 and 2. Grade 3 and 4 is language around chance that's appropriate for grade 3 and 4. And basically they have little cards. They read the card. They work out what the chance of that happening is. So the next card I flip over will be purple. What's the chance of that? So they've got to think about it. They've got to decide what section they're going to put it in. Very unlikely, likely, impossible, etc. And then they flip over a card. So it's quite a fun interactive game. There's some that they really need to think about, like what's the chance that the card will be an odd number? What's the chance that the card will be less than 2? So there's lots of different prompts that they can use. We've actually put in some differentiated prompts as well. So I really love that one. We've also got a new multiplication game, because all we hear from teachers is, we love your multiplication game. Give us more ways we can use cards to work on multiplication. This game originated because my son was having trouble with his 8 times tables. My dad's a maths teacher, said, you need to learn your 8 times tables, and was just throwing 8 times tables at him. And I was like, no, Dad, no, that's not how we're going to learn them. And we came up with this game together. Actually, my son has actually helped me come up with many of these games especially the 3-4 pack, because he's in grade 5 now. But we came up with this game, and we came up with a few extra little rules that make it interesting. So basically they've got to flip over a card, times it by 8 or times it by whatever number. So let's say we have 2 times 8, 16. They've got all of the answers in mixed order down the bottom. They need to put a counter on the answer, but you can put counters on top of each other to block each other, which is a really fun little rule. Yeah.
So good. And I feel like another honourable mention in the 3-4 pack is that we've also got another money activity where we're touching on money with change for $10, change from $100. So, and we've even got Roman numerals. Oh, maybe 3-4 is a bit of a favourite pack.
I think 3-4, actually, I think 5-6 is actually my favourite pack, honestly, which has never happened before in the history of Rainbow Sky. Let's talk about some of our favourite activities in grade 5 and 6.
Which is quite funny because my husband is an ex-maths teacher and I had to pull him aside and I was like, babes, you've been out of the classroom for too long. This is too many crunch eyebrow moments for both of us. But I think it's as well that he's used to teaching high-level year 11 and 12 maths. He's like, what do 11-year-olds need to know?
And you have to really break it down, which is what we tried to do. We tried to come up with these more difficult concepts that we haven't really touched on, but breaking them down so that they could learn about them, but learn about them still in that age-appropriate way. That's hands-on with
Yes.
cards.
So a really fun one I like is we've got 4 different templates and it's numerical expressions. So to help them create and solve numerical expressions using brackets and operations. So we've got ones where they're adding in the brackets and then taking away a number. They're adding in the brackets, but they're multiplying a number. So there's different ways for them to solve equations. And we've got a recording template that goes with it. But it's a fun one in terms of the kids don't know what numbers are coming. They could pair up and they could create one for a partner and then they've got to solve it. Or it could be what's the trickiest one you could make with the numbers that you do have, those options 0 to 9. And it gives them the opportunity to experiment. Maybe you've got these templates, but they want to try different operations and see what happens if I've got those numbers, but I put them into the 4 different templates or I use a different operation in a different order. What happens? So there's a lot of mathematical thinking, reasoning that comes behind these ones.
Yeah, and it's so much more interesting than giving them a list of questions and say, hey, just fill that out.
Yeah.
Just answer those. It's just adding that movement, that discussion, that exploration piece, which is really fun. My favourite ones in 5 and 6, they were the most difficult ones to make. But we made 2 activities around the Fibonacci sequence and around Pascal's triangle. And boy, did we have some emails, some screenshots, discussions back and forth about this. The Fibonacci sequence is actually one my son came up with.
Well.
Year 4, he was working on the Fibonacci sequence, and he said, Mum, can we make a activity around that? We came to the conclusion with Alicia's brain, my brain, lots of Googling, and Alicia's husband Tyrone's brain, that the activity that we could come up with for Fibonacci was a Fibonacci sequence, style of sequence that they were creating, not the actual Fibonacci sequence. So it has 2 activities. One, they're just following a similar style to the Fibonacci sequence, creating a number pattern, which is where the idea actually came from. But the first one is actually creating the Fibonacci sequence with cards and putting multiple cards together to create 2-digit numbers following the pattern. So the first one is really, really scaffolded, learning about that Fibonacci sequence. And that's the same with Pascal's triangle. The first one is really, really scaffolded, and they're making it with the cards, which is a really great way to start and introduce it. And then the second part of the activities for both Fibonacci and Pascal, they are creating a similar style, following the rule, but with new numbers. So it's not technically a Fibonacci sequence, and it's not technically a Pascal's triangle. Does that all make sense? Do you think I explained it well?
Yes. A lot better than my elapsed time efforts. Think of it as they're using a number generator to create a Fibonacci pattern, like a Fibonacci pattern, like the Pascal's triangle. Personally, I'm all for the Pascal's triangle pattern. That's just so much fun.
Who knew?
Who knew? So, yeah, in the 5-6, we definitely have covered. We had a teacher reach out to us and she's like, can you come up with a maths game for square roots and cube roots and cubit? And when Tyrone saw that one, my husband, he went, ooh, nice.
Actually, that was great. She sent us an email and said, I love your activities, but I really want one for square roots and cubed roots. And then she kind of sent us a Word doc and said, mine's not pretty. Do you reckon you could make this pretty? And we were like, yes, can we use this idea for our next pack? And she's like, I'd love you to. So that one was a real team effort.
That was. I feel like most of all of 5-6 is a team effort. It totally involves working on the grey matter when touching 5-6. Well, for me personally. So
yeah, it was challenging. But I think that's what your students are going to really, really love about it.
So there you go. A taster of version 4. And like we said, pre-kindy has made an appearance, so there probably will be more pre-kindy versions 2, 3, but will there be a version 5? You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, at this stage, we're thinking maybe not. What we do have is we've got covered for the entire year now. So
yes,
you can grab these packs and you are done for the entire year. You've got everything covered. So I can't foresee a version 5, but you never know.
Never say never.
Never say never. Now, if you want a little treat, if you want a little testing activity for we are going to have a freebie in the show notes that you can download and test it out. If you don't believe us that kids love cards, start there. Start with an activity that you can just test out and see how you go.
Yeah, it's the best place to go. Test it out and let the activity speak for itself and the kids share their points of view. Because if you don't get the double thumbs up from the kids, then where do you go from there? Somewhere else.
Yeah, we want you to get the double thumbs up from the kids because that's the most important part at the end of the day.
It is.
All of our packs, version 4 packs, are linked in the show notes. And we'll also link up the bundle. So if you want to get everything all in one, like you haven't tried yet and you want to get everything all in one, you can get it at 30% off the bundle.
Yeah, we always provide a little special discount if you're going to go all in for the year. And guaranteed that, like we said, if you're inclined to be teaching the same grades, you will be pulling these out the following year and the year after that. Until next time, there are rainbows ahead, my friend.
And together, we're unstoppable.
Thanks for choosing to listen to Rainbow Skies for Teachers, the go-to show dedicated to teachers who want to make a big difference in education.
If you enjoyed the episode, please leave us a 5-star review or share the episode with a friend. Because together, we're
unstoppable.